Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Emily and I will be a second year teacher in middle school. I was a first year teacher, obviously. I got a new dog. First of all, we have some things to address. My hair's pink. Yeah, it's pink. I'm in my lava girl era, don't want to talk about it. Also, my dog got a puppy. So she's rowdy. So if you hear strange things in the background, it's her. She's the culprit. Okay, anyway, today, as you can tell by the title, because you clicked on this video, is going to be a first year teacher Q&A. So a lot of you guys have been asking for this, just talking about my experiences, any advice that I have, because I know I have a bunch of first year teachers that are following me, and I know when I was like this time last year, I was watching these videos like crazy. Do you want to go outside? Hang on. As I was saying, I know when I was a first year teacher, I was watching these videos like crazy, so I wanted to make one for you guys, just kind of talking about my own experiences and kind of helping you guys navigate first year teaching, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And yeah, so I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me a bunch of questions, and you did. Yep. So I'm just going to read through those and we will get started. Quick little interruption before we get started. I just wanted to tell you guys about something super quick that I have been loving this summer as a teacher on summer break. Dogs. I had never heard of this brand before when they reached out to me. This is Magic Mind. This brand, they create these little amazing bottles of goodness. So in the summer, it's obviously summer now, hopefully for you too, but I feel like a struggle that I have every summer is just like, okay, I was teaching and now I'm just home every day. And so that motivation is just like, boo. And so you kind of like get out of a routine, and I thrive in a routine. I thrive on energy. And this has really, really helped me to stay on track and to just like be motivated and focused to like get things done. And it makes me feel so good. I have been trying out Magic Mind for like a week now. I take it every morning while I drink my coffee. I take it like a shot. You could you could drink it like a latte, like a matcha latte. There's matcha in here. You could, you know, mix it with a smoothie. There's so many different ways that you can drink this, but I just kind of down the hatch with my morning coffee. Magic Mind has nootropics inside here, which are so good for you. There are just, oh my gosh, so many great ingredients. One thing I love about this, and I think I'm going to especially love during the school year, is that it has ashwagandha in it, which is really helpful for reducing stress and just relaxing you. So I'm very excited to try this out while I'm also in school, because I have already felt so amazing from it and just like productive and calm and happy. So I'm very excited to try this during the school year. I think it's going to be super helpful. Yeah, love it. Something also amazing about Magic Mind is if you order it and you're like, not sure about this, don't think it's helping me, there's a money back guarantee. No questions asked. Send them a little email. Hey, not loving it. No questions asked. Great. Sorry about that. Here you go. Tell me that's not great customer service. I also wanted to show you how cute this bottle is. Like, are you kidding me? It's so cute. So on this side, it kind of has like the purpose. There's ingredients and nutrition, just like so adorable. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So you guys can go to Magic Mind's website, which will be linked in my description box. You can use my code for a discount. I will also have that linked in the description box, but my code is elementary20. Get 20% off your Magic Mind order. Look how cute this box is too. Like, are you kidding me? The branding, packaging, amazing. Could not ask for more. I love this. I know that you guys are gonna love this. Again, if you don't, money back guarantee, okay? So yeah, love it. Now let's get into the rest of today's video. Okay, I have a lot. So I'm just gonna go down the list. I have not looked at these yet. So this will be fun. All right, first question, classroom library tips. So I did have a classroom library. My experiences, first of all, before I start, I only taught writing, science, and social studies. So I cannot speak to teachers who teach all subjects. I was departmentalized. So I kind of have like a different experience with some things. So classroom library, I did have one. I had a small one just because I didn't teach reading, but writing and reading really do go together. So I did have a library. I organized my library by genre and little bins. But I think if I were to do it over again, I would just like not even mess with bins, and I would just organize it by either genre or author or something and just put the books on the shelf, because that's how they are in our actual library. And so I really, if I had, you know, to do it all over again, I would do it that way, just because like that's how all libraries are. And no matter how old your students are, they're gonna have to like learn how to navigate that kind of system. So I would do that, and I think that's also easier on you. It allows more room for more books. So that would be my tip for classroom library. And like if you wanted to do it, I think Kim, maybe from Elementary in the Middle, wait, what? I just said Elementary in the Middle. Elementary in the Mitten. I think she does it this way, and she has like different sticker colors for different genres. So you could just get a bunch of different stickers and put them on the outside of your books, and then make like a key that you have near your library. So like purple sticker equals fantasy, yellow sticker equals realistic fiction, things like that. So that's what I would change if I had to do it again, and that would probably be the tips that I have for classroom library. Next question, what did you prep the summer before that you thanked yourself for? Ooh, that's a good question, you guys. Okay, I think just all of the things that, like all of the little things. So like spray painting bins that I wanted, or collecting furniture from Facebook Marketplace, buying little things, buying bins, things like that. I didn't do too much prep at home. Well, yes I did. I did a lot of like my decor prep at home, like in the summer. And I am glad that I did that, because like once you get into like your classroom and pre-planning, like you don't have all the time in the world to just be like printing, laminating, cutting, laminating, cutting, laminating, cutting. So I was very glad that I had all of that already once I got into my classroom, because then I could just like put things where I wanted them. So that would probably be the biggest thing, is like the decor aspect of it. Like if you're using a bundle from TPT that you're like printing and going to be using throughout your classroom, that was definitely like, I would thank myself for doing that in the summer. Regretted. She said, what did you prep that you thanked yourself for? What did you prep that you regretted? I regretted all of the content, like posters and things like that I prepped. So I like I took a lot of time to like make and print and copy and laminate and cut like all these like different content area posters and stuff. And I kind of regretted that, just because like I didn't fully know what I would be teaching. So some of that was a waste of time and I didn't use it. I recommend not prepping anything content area wise in the summer, which I know like kind of like what, but at least for me, this is my experience, a lot of that stuff that I prepped I didn't use, because I just didn't fully know exactly like what I was going to be teaching. So yeah, that was a long answer to that question, but yeah. I'm teaching 4th grade this year. What are they like? So in my personal experience, and kind of, I feel like it's kind of similar to other 4th grade teachers that I have talked to, 4th graders are they're getting to that age because, you know, they're about to be in 5th grade, but they're not quite there yet. So they're really just trying to be like cool and like trying to fit in and trying to make friends. And so that can cause a lot of drama, like so much drama, just like with the girls, with the guys, like just drama. If I had to use one word to describe my 4th graders, it would be drama. But so that's kind of like the negative. I don't know why I started with the negative. That was very negative of me. But they are also so fun. Like they're at an age where they're so cute, and some of them are still, you know, like lovey, and they'll like give you hugs and stuff like that. But they're also like, they can understand sarcasm and they can joke around. So I love the age. It's so fun. It's so fun. So lots of drama, you know, but you can really have fun with them. So yeah, sarcasm is my middle name. So that was great for me. All right, next question. She says, I just got hired. What are the first steps for the classroom? So I feel like this kind of goes along with what I was just talking about, but I would, in the summer, I would just focus on like decor, like what you want your classroom to look like. That was the first thing that I did, was kind of figure out like how I wanted to set things up. Like, do you want desks or tables? I mean, not every school you'll have the choice, but I did. Kind of how do you want to lay it out? Do you want a classroom library? So I would figure out kind of like the layout that you like, and then like the vibes that you want in your classroom first. How did you not feel annoying to your team with asking a lot of questions? That's a good question, because that was a big fear of mine. I'm very much introverted and like shy, so I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how to do anything, and I keep asking my team for help. But I did get extremely incredibly lucky with an amazing team. So a lot of the times, like I would ask them questions, but a lot of the times they would be like, hey, you know, you're a first year teacher, you know, for example, grading window is closing soon. Do you know how to do everything? Do you need me to show you anything? Do you have any questions? So that was great. So hopefully like you will get a team that will understand that you've never done this before, and they will be there for you to kind of like guide you. Also, I don't know how your school, or if your school does this, but my school, we had a mentor program for all first year teachers. So I had a mentor. She was not on my team, and so I went to her a lot for questions. So you have hopefully a bunch of different resources for you to ask questions. So maybe you could ask like your team some things if you have a mentor, or just like reach out to random people in your building, even if they're not on your team. Just be like, hey, you know, whatever. I don't know. But don't feel annoying, because it's like they should understand that you've never done this before and that this is, you know, difficult to kind of grasp. Okay, next question. What was the most unexpected thing about your first year? I did not expect all of the things that you have to do besides just teaching, like whether it's meetings or like committees that you're required to be a part of, grading, events, parent nights, like all this stuff. Like of course I knew about some of it, but it's just a lot like of stuff other than just like talking to your kids and teaching. So that was like a little bit unexpected. But again, I know every school's different, so you never really know, but that was something that I did not personally expect. Okay, we're back. Apologies if you hear them in the background. They're crazy. Next question. I really like this question. She said, what do you do to keep yourself going on the really hard days? So there are days that are extremely hard, and you feel like you can't do it anymore and you want to give up, and it's just inevitable that those days are going to happen. For me, again, I had an amazing team. So I really leaned on them when those days would hit, whether that's just venting, crying to them, or like asking them what I should do, and you know, really like leaning on them for support. But also, like, I feel like I've talked about this before, but some days the kids are just like crazy and you just like feel like you can't get a grip. And so on those days I like to kind of just like put my lesson plan aside for a second and just focus on them, because even on really hard days, even if the days are really hard because of them, I know that I still love them, and I know that like they are why I'm there. So I will kind of be like, okay, what can we do to turn this around? Do we need to like take a little brain break? Do we need to play a game? Do we need to just sit and talk? And I will like bring some fun into the day, or just like, you know, one thing that was like a lifesaver for me at the end of the year was satisfying videos, okay? Because my kids personally loved them, like those sand videos, like cutting sand, or like the hydraulic press things, because it's like satisfying and it like calms them down, but they stay engaged. But it's not like a movie or something where they might be like, you know, where they might be like chit-chatting and whatever. It's just like, and it gives you a second to just like breathe. So that would be, those would be my tips for the really hard days. Doesn't always help. Sometimes you just literally have to just take it minute by minute and just be like, I'm getting through this day. It will be over eventually. So yeah. What excites you most about moving to middle school, and what will you miss? I think what excites me most is only teaching one content area and kind of like honing in on that one content area, and just learning it really well. I'm excited for 2 planning periods. I'm excited because we start later, so I'll get to sleep in a little bit. I'm excited because I know a bunch of people who work there, so I'll be able to like work with friends. So I'm excited for a lot of things, and coaching cheerleading, or helping coaching cheerleading. Again, I'm sorry for my dogs. What will I miss? I think I'll just miss like the innocence, and like the lovingness of elementary, like my hugs and stuff. So I'll probably miss that, and just like my students, getting to see them next year. But it is what it is, and I know they still reach out all the time. So did you feel prepared / like you knew what you were going, oh sorry, my brain. Did you feel prepared / like you knew what you were doing going in? I'm kind of scared. No, I did not feel prepared. I had no idea what I was doing too, so you were not alone. I think everyone feels that way because you've never done it before. So you're like, what the heck am I supposed to do? You just don't know until you just start. And then eventually you just get the hang of it. I know that's not great advice, but that's just how it is. You just don't know until you know, unfortunately. Classroom management and feeling confident in yourself. Okay, classroom management, I've talked about this before, I think, but it really firstly depends on if your school has their own like school-wide classroom management. I worked at a PBIS school, so that was required of us to use for classroom management. But I also did other things alongside of that to kind of aid in my classroom management, because PBIS was kind of like a school-wide thing, so like they individually earned points. So I would do classroom management for my whole class. Again, I was departmentalized, so I had multiple classes, so I would use that. My best classroom management tip would be student versus teacher. That really does work, and always using that with a goal at the end. So like, for example, at the end of the school year, we did that. I did kind of like, I did student versus teacher, that, but then I did like class versus class. So like they could earn points in student versus teacher, and then whichever class had the most point, they got to choose what color I dyed my hair. So things like that were, oh my gosh, they're driving me nuts. So basically student versus teacher is like, if I ask them to line up and they're rambunctious and crazy, I get a point. If they do it quietly, like they're supposed to, in line order, all of that stuff, then they get a point. And so they're trying to beat you, you're trying to beat them with points. So I have found that that really helps. Now, when I go to middle school, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know, but we shall see. Oh my gosh. Feeling confident in yourself, I feel like that only comes with time. At the beginning, you're freaking out and you're scared, and that is totally normal. But over time, you just kind of figure it out and you're like, okay, I can do this. But also, you went to college for this. Like, you know what you're doing. Like, you student taught. So just know that like you have all the information that you need. And so, well, not that you need, but like you have the necessary information to build on your skills and your confidence. And even if you don't feel confident, just act confident and no one will ever know. Fake it till you make it works in that department. This question, they said administration things. I'm more nervous about what they ask you for than what to do in class. So again, this is really going to vary, like really going to vary based on your schooling, your admin. Some admin are great, some are not so great. You can't control how great they are, unfortunately. But this is where kind of your confidence comes in. And like for me, anytime I got nervous, of course I got nervous if they were gonna ask me for something or come into my classroom to observe me. But I always had in my mind, like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I have my students' best interests in mind. And if they don't like what I'm doing, they'll give me feedback and that'll be that. And I will take that feedback and try and be better. So just know that like you will get constructive criticism, you will get feedback, and that's okay because their goal is to make you a better teacher, hopefully. As far as what they asked me for, they only really asked me for my lesson plans like a week in advance. Sorry about that, my dog went to the bathroom inside, so if you hear her barking, she's in her crate. How to not break the bank buying classroom supplies. So it, again, depends on your school. My school this past year did not give me any money for supplies. They do, however, most schools have some sort of like supply closet or, I don't know, room where you can get like the basic things that you need, like paper, pencils, folders, pencil sharpener, hopefully. But this upcoming year, my school does give us money for supplies. So it really just depends. That's another tip that I would have for like summertime is don't buy a ton of supplies because you may not know what your school provides you. So you don't want to spend like a ton of money on supplies before like you know what your school is going to give you. Hi, what to buy on your own before school, how to put a wish list out. So I did create an Amazon wish list. So things that I bought were like, I bought like some shelving, I bought like a rug, again, like kind of more decor stuff. Like table caddies, I bought like border paper, expo markers, that kind of thing. And you can create all of that stuff on Amazon, and then there's just like a little share button and you can get the link to it, and then you can share that link like on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. That's kind of how I did it. And I definitely do recommend making an Amazon wish list because you never know what people will donate to your classroom. Where do you get all of your amazing outfits? Thank you, first of all. So I do have kind of like my go-to places to buy things. So Target, TJ Maxx is like the biggest one probably just because of how affordable it is. Where else? Target, TJ Maxx, online like Shein. I try not to buy from there too often, but they do have really affordable clothes. And then Teacher Style Box, this is not sponsored. I'm not being paid to say this. I just genuinely love Teacher Style Box. It's so fun because you can really try out a lot of like cute stuff that you are like, oh, I don't know if I want to like buy that, but you can try it out if you remember. So I highly recommend Teacher Style Box because it's super fun. And then if you like, you can exchange however many times that you want. And if you find something that you love, then you can purchase it for a reduced price. So I highly recommend Teacher Style Box. Again, this is not sponsored. I just really love the service. I think it's great. And it takes the hassle out of like going shopping and like all that stuff. How to lesson plan. So again, this varies upon your school, your team. So like my team, we kind of decided like what we would do. So I, again, taught writing. Our school is very small, so no other teacher on my team taught writing besides me. So I would plan that on my own. And then for science social studies, we all taught that, so we would plan it together. So my school, or my county district last year, did have a bunch of awesome resources and like lesson plans already for us that we could use, that they encouraged us to use. So that is how I would lesson plan, is I would look at that for whatever unit we were on. And then if I decided that I didn't like something from it, then I would just kind of come up with something else that I wanted to do. And we had like objectives for each lesson. So like we had to have a learning target. We had to have like a connect, like a link. We had to have active engagement in the warm up. And there's a bunch of stuff that we like had to have. Okay, what was I talking about? Okay, lesson plan. So again, it just depends on your school. There's also great resources on Teachers Pay Teachers. That's like my biggest resource tip, is using Teachers Pay Teachers, because they just have so much for free too. So that's my biggest tip. Lots of questions like, when did you start buying stuff? What did you do in the summer? So hopefully I answered that. Favorite resources. Again, so I just said Teachers Pay Teachers for me, like for teacher resources. They have a lot of stuff for cheap, and then you can find a lot of good free stuff on there too, if you don't want to spend money. But I did spend money on Teachers Pay Teachers just because like I would be like, oh, I need an assignment for this. And sometimes it's worth it to pay like $2 or $3 to get an assignment versus like spending so much time making it yourself. So that spending that $2 to $3 a lot of times outweighed the like time that I saved myself. So Teachers Pay Teachers for resources. Pinterest, obviously. Instagram is a great resource, especially with all like the influencers now, teacher influencers. Like there's really great stuff out there. One of my favorites, again, I have worked with them in the past, but this is not sponsored, is Nearpod. That is like, oh my gosh, it is amazing. My kids love Nearpod. You can do so much stuff on there. They can play games on, it's just like chef's kiss. It is so easy. They have so many already like pre-made lessons. You can make your own. It's just amazing. That's probably my biggest like resource that I used in my classroom. I would use it like almost every day. So if you've never like tried Nearpod or looked into it, I highly recommend it because it is amazing. What was your first day like? Activities, students, emotions? Oh my gosh, I remember the first day of school. I was so nervous. I don't think I even slept the night before. I was so nauseous because I was so nervous. It was a good day. I mean, we didn't do anything content wise at all. I just kind of prepped like get to know you activities. I put together a PowerPoint about myself with like some pictures, and I let them like ask questions about me. Yeah, just doing cute little like first day activities, like what do you feel today, like doing like some word searches, getting to know you games, get to know your classmate games, things like that. But yeah, I was so nervous, but like once the day started, and like once I started like doing things like talking to my kids, it was so fun. And great day. I loved the first day at school. How did you deal with being one of the youngest teachers? I'm nervous about veteran teachers. I was very much so the youngest teacher in my building. Even like this upcoming year, one of my really good friends works there, and so she's told me that like some of the teachers have already started calling me baby teacher. It's just gonna happen. But like I never felt like, sometimes I'd feel insecure, not necessarily because I was young, but just because like I was coming into a new school where everybody knew each other. Like there was never any issues with me being the youngest teacher. So hopefully you don't have any issues with that. This was, oh, I love this question because I struggled with this at the beginning. What are some good filler activities for early finishers or extra downtime? So that's probably another thing that I like didn't expect, was like I would plan a lesson and then I'd have kids who would finish in like 5 seconds and kids who would take the entire time. So I was like, shoot, like so a great thing to always do is just like, if you have like 10 minutes, just be like, grab a book, read. Stop and jots are great. So like if especially like for reading or writing class time, if you need a filler activity for that. Oh my gosh, chipmunk. What was I saying? Oh yes, tell them to go grab a book from your classroom library or one of their own library books. Tell them to get a sticky note, and you can tell them to stop and jot about whatever you may be learning at that time. So I'm trying to think of an example. So like if you're working on teaching about setting, tell them to read their book, and anytime they notice something about the setting, they stop and they jot down whatever they notice on a sticky note and put it on that page in the book. So that's a great filler activity. Again, Teachers Pay Teachers has amazing things for that. So I literally would just search like early finisher writing activities, and you can click like free and print those. So I would do things like I had picture cards, like story cards. So they all had a picture on it, so they could go grab a picture and write a story based on the picture. Choice boards are really awesome early finisher activities. You can get those for any subject area, where I had them glue it in their journal. So if they finished early, I'd say glue your journal, work on your choice board. So I taught writing, so their choice board had a bunch of basically writing prompts on it. So they had like an opinion choice board, they had a narrative choice board, an informational choice board. You can also do that digitally, which is great. So they can type if you have students who are working on like writing and they need to type. Choice boards are great. Any kind of like, I don't know your school, but my school was a Title I school. They all had their own Chromebooks. So, you know, creating things online for them to do was a really great early finisher activity that also engages them, you know, in their learning. Okay. What was it like trying to build relationships with your students? That was my favorite part. I feel like that, from what I have observed about myself and from what I've been told about myself from others, like my admin and stuff, that's definitely a strength of mine, is building relationships with students. You know, from day one, first day of school, I had them do kind of like an interest survey. So I learned all about their interests, what they like. And so I could, from the get-go, include their interests in their learning. And I think that's a really big thing, is like, so for example, your survey might be like, what's your favorite TV show? Or like, what's your favorite thing to do outside of school? And so then you can learn like, okay, like my kids loved anime. Almost all of them loved anime. Did I know anything about anime? No, but I knew that they loved it. So then I could kind of do a little research and be like, you know, figure it out. And then if I have like a warm-up that day, a writing warm-up, I could say, write a paragraph pretending you are in this anime show, using characters, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh my gosh, my teacher like cares about what I like. So that's a big thing. And then just using any downtime to like get to know them and to talk to them. Every Monday and every Friday, I would take like 5 to 10 minutes. What are you doing this weekend? Let's share. And on Monday, what did you do? Like, did you have fun? Talk about it. Things like that. Recess too, I would always hang out with them at recess. Not always. Sometimes I'd be like, I need a second. But most of the time I'd like go swing and just talk to them about their lives and all that fun stuff. How to stay positive and excited about being a teacher when so many people are leaving. Yeah. So a lot of people are leaving, rightfully so. I think you have to keep in mind, at least for me, I keep in mind like everyone has different experiences. Like, just because it's hard doesn't necessarily mean you have to leave, because I thought about leaving multiple times, but I was like, think about why you do this. And for me, why I did it was obviously my students, and that outweighed for me the struggles, because like I'm there for them and the world needs good teachers and teaching is hard, and I'm like, I'm just like, someone has to do it, and I know that I'm good at it, so I'm going to do it even though it's hard. I would say find people, whether it's like people in your personal life or people that you follow who are positive. I try to be really positive. I try to balance being positive with also being real, but it's hard sometimes. How do you deal with problematic parents? This is our last question. So I had a couple, you know, for the most part, I had amazing parents, but there always are that one or two that are just like a little bit difficult, and just you kind of have to figure out how to talk to them and, you know, how to navigate that relationship. I would run everything through my admin. If there was, you know, if I knew that that parent was a difficult parent, I don't want to say like difficult parent, but if I knew that like there was going to be maybe some issues or some things I was unsure about, I would run everything past my admin. So like, hey, this parent sent me this email, not sure how to respond, what do you think? My admin was great. I would, you know, type up a response and I would be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about sending back to them, what do you think? Anytime I got a phone call from an angry parent, you know, just being very understanding and empathetic to them, because like as a teacher, it's easy to be like, whoa, like why are you acting this way? But like, you're not that parent, like that's their child, that's their baby. So being empathetic to their concerns and their questions. Again, if they're just like super upset, just like being apologetic, but also like standing your ground. Like if you made a decision and they're not happy with it, just explaining yourself and just being like, I'm so sorry that like, you know, you, not like sorry that you feel that way, but just like, I just reiterating all the time that like, I love your child and I'm trying to do what's best for them. And if you know, you don't like this decision that I made or this thing that I'm doing, like I understand, but I'm really keeping their best interest in mind. I can, you know, I will take your feedback and I will, you know, run it past my admin. And if you have, you know, a bigger concern, feel free to reach out to them. And really like how I want to partner with you to do what's best for your child is the biggest thing. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Hopefully you won't have to deal with too many of those parents. But again, like most of the time, like they're really just trying to look out for their baby. So keep that in mind when, you know, if you're dealing with a difficult parent. Okay, this is a very long video, but I really wanted to make it because I know that there's so many questions as a first year teacher and you just don't know. So I wanted to make this for you guys to continually reference throughout your school years and stuff like that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed and I hope that you got some really good information from this video. Again, if you have any other questions, I did not answer every single question, but I answered most of them. If you have a question that I did not answer, please feel free to leave it in the comments and I will reply to you in the comments. So if you have any other questions down the road in a month, in a few months, my DMs are open on Instagram. I really try to answer all of those questions that I get. So feel free to reach out anytime with any questions that you have, because I know that like I learned a lot from people online as well. So again, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope it was helpful. I love ya, and I will see you in the next one.